your inhale. Oh, good. And one more time, let's just breathe in and breathe out. So for this tree-inspired practice, I would invite you, if you're wearing shoes, to maybe take your shoes off if that feels okay for you. And if not, then you can keep them on, but it's just an option, so that you can feel the surface that's holding you. You can feel the earth underneath. Yeah, and just getting comfortable, getting settled in this moment. So some things that you might be noticing as you tune into your breathing, perhaps you're noticing how the breath comes in. Maybe temperature, maybe cooler, how it leaves the body, maybe a little warmer. So just for a moment, let's arrive to the moment, paying attention to this breath that's flowing for you. And if there's a lot in the mind right now, maybe I can invite you to just for a moment notice what's in the mind. What is it telling you? What is it saying? What's keeping it busy? So just observing this mind, the thinking process right now, without getting carried away, but just noticing what it's bringing in this moment. Whatever it might be, just let it know that you've chosen to be here at this moment, and that it can wait. Whatever might be telling you can wait. It's kind of like telling a small child that you will get to it. You would attend to whatever it is, but in this moment, we're just arriving to this breath, this body. And so as you notice your breathing, perhaps noticing where you feel the breath the most in the body, where is it experienced the most. Seeing if you can give this area of the body your attention just for a moment. And as you get acquainted with your breath right now, perhaps just noticing other areas of the body, settling in this moment. Sensing through all the parts that this breath moves through, that this breath visits in this moment. Seeing if you can just really gently follow the movement of the breath. And as you notice this body breathing, sensing the breath in this body, perhaps noticing the expansion of the lungs on the in-breath and the contraction on the out-breath. Seeing if for just a moment you can ride the wave of this breath that's moving through the body. If you're noticing any tension or any tightness, seeing if you can notice the tension, the tightness, and then make the decision to perhaps just let it be, let it go. Letting go is more letting be in mindfulness. It's nothing to fight, nothing to suppress, nothing to control. It's just an invitation. Seeing if the body can soften on its own as you attend to it. And if there's a lot in the mind still, maybe I invite you to just take a deeper than normal breath. Exhaling long. Coming back to this breath, coming back to this moment. And just for a moment, seeing if you can just remain here present with your breathing. Not so much controlling or fixing or changing the breath, but the fact that you can just allow your attention to rest here, right on the breath. This body breathing. And on the next out breath, I'm going to invite you to bring into mind a tree. It could be any tree, any kind of tree that comes to your awareness or comes to mind. So just notice how this tree may look right now for you. Noticing everything about it, its branches, the outer layer, the crust. Notice the quality of the tree, its powerful stand, its beauty. Maybe communicates strength, maybe softness. Notice what words come up to you when you notice this tree. How would you describe it in your mind's eye? And allow for any words that come to you to really have a sinking into your body, to really, really feel these words, what they mean to you as you see them in the tree. Now I'd like you to choose 3 words that really speak to you when you think of this tree. 3 words that come to mind about its qualities. And allow these words to really, really sink into every corner of your being, the deepest part of yourself. Feeling their power. And just for this moment, I invite you to just let those words go for now. We'll come back to them. Just kind of store them away somewhere. And come back to the presence of this tree. Notice everything about it. Let's have a heart. And now notice your own heart. And see if in your mind's eye, these 2 hearts can bind into one. so that your heart is pumping into the tree's life as well, and vice versa. Beating this rhythm into its life. And just for a moment, notice what it's like when you step into the tree's existence, into its being. You're coming all the way down to your feet, sensing your feet as roots deep into the earth. Connecting to the earth's crust. Connecting to every other tree out in the planet. Part of this incredible network. And as you move your attention up from these roots, coming up to the trunks, the trunk of the tree, noticing the strength, power, whatever comes to you, feeling it as your own. Feeling the solid being supporting you. Feeling its strength. And noticing the sense of flexibility that its roots provide. To be able to just even bend a little when there's a lot of wind or when the storms hit. Knowing that it's fully rooted right deep, deep into the earth's crust, all across the planet. Fully connected, supported by other trees. Feel its power, its strength. The sense of knowing that even during a storm is rooted deeply. Even during heavy wind, is rooted deeply. And even if your tree seems to be fully alone in the area that's at, knowing that it's never alone, is fully connected and embraced with this incredible root, incredible network, constantly communicating. So just for a moment, allowing yourself to feel the strength, the power, and whenever the mind wanders, whenever it distracts away, come back to this beautiful being with strength, with power that's supporting you in this moment. Come back to sensing your feet in connection with every other tree, in constant communication. Supported, held. And as you sit here in connection with your tree, see if you can take in some of these qualities as your own. Some of this knowing that is got the strength to keep him always rooted and in place, no matter what happens in the outside world. The knowing that every fall it will shed some leaves that no longer serve him. But every spring it will start growing new ones. And in the winter, it might be bare with no green leaves around. But he knows that the winter will pass. The spring will come back again. He knows that no matter how hot the summer is, it will still outstand the heat. And no matter where it is, it always knows that it's connected to light, to the sun, to the natural world. And no matter how many storms, it would always find its way to the light. It would always search for the sky. It's unstoppable. So for the next few minutes, I invite you to just sit here with this tree. And notice what it's got to teach you in this moment. What is something that you can learn from it? And instead of that being a mental process, seeing if you can just tune into this embodiment of this unity, seeing the world as a tree would see it, experiencing it as a tree would experience it. Now I invite you to come back to the breath, and as you breathe, notice how the oxygen travels all over the tree's trunk and the leaves, the branches. Feeling a sense of oneness with the earth. And allowing this earth to feed you, noticing all the nutrients that the tree absorbs through the earth, through the sun, through everything that surrounds it. And whenever you're ready, really gently at your own pace on the next out breath, just coming back to this body sitting here, bringing in a sense of groundness, of strength from the tree, from this experience, carrying it with you, knowing that it's available to you at any time, knowing that just like the tree is connected to every single being in the planet, every other tree, every network underground, so are you. So David Wagner, in a poem called Stand Still, says, "The trees are ahead and the bushes beside you are not lost. Whatever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. Must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen. It answers, I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back by saying here. No two trees are the same to raven. No two branches are the same to wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you're surely lost. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you." And so maybe taking a deeper than normal breath. Allowing these words to settle. Allowing this practice to carry you over throughout your day, your night. And as you come back to your body, sensing what it might need. Maybe it needs to shift a little bit. Maybe it needs to move a little bit. So allowing for this movement to come from a place of wisdom and not impulse, not a reaction to something you don't want, but a holding, a nurturing to what is. And then at your own pace, whenever you're ready, you can come back to opening your eyes, Maybe taking a look around the space where you are, past the screen, past the camera, noticing what's here for you, allowing your gaze to just flow instead of looking for anything in particular. Yeah. So just as you take a breath, just taking some time here to come back to this space. Looking at our community, looking at who's here. And so the theme today, as you might have guessed, is about trees. And trees are, I think, my favorite, or I don't think, I'm sure they're my favorite being in the planet. And so as you come back, maybe you can remember those words that came to you at the beginning of what a tree might represent for you. And then just keep them with you. I might have a little time to share later, but just bring them to mind. Remember what they are. Have them be a place for you to come to. So you can remember the strength. You can remember what it's like to learn from a tree. And so something that always does unto me is when I walk around, I take walks around my neighborhood, and something that I find incredible about trees is that I've lived in this neighborhood on and off pretty much most of my life after I moved here from Peru and from the East Coast, and longer than I've lived anywhere else. And I've seen trees change the neighborhood in some way and how powerful they are. And that's why I wanted to share this with you, because, for instance, I can see how sometimes they can break through concrete with the roots. Like it just lifts up entire driveways. They lift up entire streets. They make their way through houses. They're solid. The roots are solid. Even a tree that might not look like it's that strong in the outside, still, when I see what is done, I see its power and its strength. How these roots are so strong. And just like that, I feel like sometimes we can also call on that strength for ourselves as part of this entire universe, as part of nature. There's a strength that is innate to us already that we just have to recognize. And so the trees, just like people, also carry stories, right? Every ring in a tree is about a year of life, and then it grows with it, and it becomes thicker and thicker. So when you see a tree that is being cut, you can see all the rings. You can see where it started, and it's like a little ring, and then it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Just like us, we also carry stories about our life from the moment that we came to be in this planet. But see, just like the trees, these stories, these rings give them strength, make the tree more solid, make its trunk more solid. And so the invitation is perhaps to see your stories in the same way, not as something that holds you back or defeats you, but as something that holds so much power, so much strength, just like the tree, just like every ring makes it stronger. So I wanted to leave you with that today. I thank you so much for this practice. I thank you for being here today. And may or learning serve you. May this sharing serve you in any way. Again, if this doesn't speak to you, just leave it. If you can't relate, don't worry about it. You don't have to. Don't try to make anything happen. That's always my message. Take what you need, leave what you don't. That's the idea. And so so maybe we can take a deeper than normal breath together. Come back to this space, to our sharing space.